welcome back to the OATI Energy Conference 2024 in Las Vegas. I'm John Engel, Editor-in-Chief of Distributech and Power Grid International, joined by Tim Hamilton, the Power Manager of Imperial Irrigation District. Tim, it's great to see you, and thanks for being with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Let's start off. You've known the OATI team for more than a decade, so there's a long story here. Walk me through the relationship and partnership with OATI and Imperial Irrigation District, and how that's grown over the years.
So it started way before I was hired there at IID, but back in 2000, I think we were one of their first customers with e-tagging and Oasis, and then we moved on and purchased some other applications as they grew.
You told me before we started recording that you've been to like 15 of these or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how have you seen OATI as a vendor and a partner really evolve over that time, and being in these customer conversations? These environments are great. So, we doing Distributech, it's a massive event. It is not, vendor led. This is a very unique opportunity to really dive into the technical aspects of these tools. So I'm sure you've seen an arc here.
I have, and it's absolutely amazing. Every time I come to one of these, I think that, I come here for a certain thing, and then I find out that, well, I had an issue that I didn't even know I had, and they have an answer for it or a solution for it. So, I really appreciate OATI, and I just enjoy watching them grow over the years and watching us grow over the years too.
They do seem to be pretty candid about let's be honest brokers on both sides of the table.
Exactly.
And what are the advantages there? Because we can all as companies talk about customer obsession, and sometimes it sounds hollow when you even deliver that phrase. But you hear it in these rooms and in these conversations, a real honest framework for here's our challenges. We know that you're doing your best to try to fix them, and how do we get to this ultimate destination that we ideally both share? I'm sure that's critical for you on the utility.
So I think one of the great things is about OATI is their staff. They've done a great job, and they're real people. They're not salesmen. I get cold calls constantly on, hey, I've got this software solution, for you. We've got to set up a call, this and that. I can pick up the phone, I can call any one of our project managers, and they can answer right away or set up a meeting. And like, again, they're not trying to sell me a product. They're trying to help me with a solution.
When we think about energy markets and the energy transition, it's interesting that the story with IID and OATI begins with tagging and markets. Why is that relationship so important? Why are energy markets critical to the energy transition and really facilitating that shift?
So really, integrating renewable energy is huge. And if you didn't have a market to put your excess energy in, or to optimize your gas-fired units, then you're going to have real issues. So the market is extremely important.
OATI talks a lot about these end-to-end solutions and really needing to think about the bigger picture, where we tend to find ourselves as an industry getting insular and siloed, and we put the distribution folks over here, the transmission folks over here, and God forbid the traders walk into the room and mess everything up. But why is that important? And I guess, how does that manifest itself at IID, the idea of end-to-end solutions?
So I think most utilities, they have just kind of incorporated this solution or this application, this company, and now, I mean, just watching Jim and Mark's presentation yesterday from generation all the way to your end customer use, it's really important. I mean, all the pieces talk to each other, and I think it's a much smoother process if it's set up that way and using the same company.
There seem to be two schools of thought on that too. There are some utilities who say, I want diversification. I don't want all my eggs to be in one basket, or, linked to a single vendor because of risk and exposure, whatever. If something goes wrong with that single vendor, you could be in a tricky spot for a number of different applications. The flip side, though, is if you have too many cooks in the kitchen and you're making so many different calls and dealing with, you talked about project managers, 8 or 10 of those. How do you approach that? Obviously, you talked about the value of end-to-end, but what are maybe the merits of both of those thinkings?
So I think we have a pretty good solution. We have, we definitely use OATI, but we have some other folks that we use. I think it's important to have that end-to-end solution, but you also have to have the products that, kind of talk to each other. So
when you think about the energy transition and where IID sits within it, what do you see as the biggest near-term challenges for you to deliver on the expectations of consumers who are more and more aware of how you operate than they ever have been before?
Yeah, so we've always focused on reliability. And reliability is one thing, but if you can't do it cost effectively, your ratepayers are going to pay way too much and they're going to leave. So I think incorporating renewables, energy storage is a huge one. And the only way we're going to be able to get to net zero greenhouse gas is by, renewable energy storage, and being able to get the ratepayers to buy into that.
Tim Hamilton, the manager of power delivery at Imperial Irrigation District. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.